Hey guys, welcome back. So on today's video we have this lovely bucket here. Just your basic bucket. Nothing heavy duty, no crazy teeth or anything. I would consider it a relatively lightweight bucket for sand or whatever. Now, the problem is these holes are oval. That one's pretty close, but this one. Let me start by saying this whole entire machine went to the John Deere dealer, and they said the bucket had some slop in it or whatever, and I don't know if they tried to I don't know what they charged the customer for, because they probably charged him something. They attempted to fix it. I don't know if they billed him for line boring, or I would hope they didn't bill him at all, honestly, for this type of work. I mean, that's literally straight from the dealer. But they did put new pins in, and they did put anti-seize on there. Maybe that would make it better. And I mean, that's, it's not too bad. Instead of removing the broken bolt to bolt this in, let's just put a little weld on there. Yeah, well, anybody with common sense knows that ain't gonna work. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Looks real good. So they did weld those, tried to weld those on every single one. And what do you know? Every single one broke. Like, why would you assume that would hold the pin in there? But anyways, so we've got to line bore these, fix them. That's what we're doing today. All right, we got our bearings on here. I just pulled off the centering cones. Now, obviously, on bores that are messed up like that, the centering cones are gonna get close, but there's no way to like sweep the inside of the bore to center the bar and make sure it's true to everything else and true to the other bores. So basically in this situation, what you would do is pull reference points. So you're gonna measure like here, from the bottom of the bar to here. If these bores were good, then you can measure, from either the center or the bottom and the top to here. Anything that you think is like a machine surface or a true known good measurement, you're just gonna take tons of different measurements on this end of the bar. Different ways, maybe in a triangle shape would be good. And then do the same thing on this side, and then adjust these screws and get those bearings to move around to where your triangle essentially measures the same. And then that bar will be probably as close as you're gonna get it. The other way you could do it would be, if those holes were true, you could slide another bar through there and then measure it that way. But those holes aren't true, so we can't do that. All right, guys, we got it all set up. Finally got all the pieces for our hydraulic drive, and we're running our HPU off of the Big Blue right now. It's 3-phase. I'm having some issues with 3-phase in my shop, drawing too much power and whatnot, but it's all typical. stuff you would run into trying to run an operation like this out of your house. So the problem here is when these bores wore out, they wore out on this side, so it wore back this way as the pin did. And when the John Deere dealer welded it, they welded on that side, which made the center of the hole that was existing, it offset it this way. The center of the bore should be in the center of this. I was not able to adjust the bar far enough that way to essentially make the bar center in this. So I literally have to cut out their weld and then move the bar over so that it could be in the center of this. It's kind of a pain. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Like all of the weld is on this side when they should have put the weld here, which this is where it wore out, but they welded it on that side. So I have to cut that side out to move the bar over, recut it, recenter the whole bar, recut it, weld it, and then cut it again. A lot more of a process than I wanted to do, but I'm happy all the hydraulic stuff is working good. And yeah, just did about close to 1/4 of an inch cut on that side. Had a little bit of chatter, but we'll see what happens on this side. I don't know if you can see that. That's about 3/16, maybe 1/4 inch of cut. And the other benefit to running hydraulic is I can literally stand here and talk to somebody. That electric motor is extremely loud. So the benefits of hydraulic is torque. It has a lot of torque. You can cut multiple bores at the same time, which is what I would do on the bottom, except the customer has decided that we're only going to do the top and we're going to leave the bottom ones alone. Then you can control it. You got your e-stop, start, speed control, run and jog. You got a nice little pendant. It'd be kind of cool if this was wireless, like a crane remote. That'd be kind of cool. I feel like this is kind of big for its purpose, but that's what Climax has. Called HPU, hydraulic power unit. And I'm getting my 3-phase power. The old table the apprentice built for a customer. Looks pretty good. He's doing a real good job. All right, so you can see now I have the bar is now centered inside of these pin bosses. So see how much I had to cut on that side. The bar's almost touching it. And this is the side that took all the wear, but they didn't put any weld there, so we're having to do it this way. So now I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna finish cutting out whatever weld they have in there. There's a little bit left. I'm gonna get these either close to a perfect circle, or we'll kind of see what it looks like. Basically, we're gonna cut the hole bigger, and then we're gonna weld it up. All right, so we got our bores cleaned out. Cleaned out meaning on this side here where they put all of their weld to try to do whatever the dealer thought they were doing. I have no idea. So this is where they put all their weld. We have that removed. We have almost a full circle of clean cut on this bore. There's just a little bit right here. This bore has a little bit more of a rough area, but I think it'll be okay. We will either weld it by hand, or my Climax bore welder has the option to weld that in, skip the rest of it, weld that, skip the rest of it. So maybe we'll try that out. There is still a little bit of weld right here. I'm gonna take my stone cone grinding wheel and just kind of run it in here on that rough, the area that wasn't cut with a line boring. So I'm gonna rough all it up and get any porosity or grease and all that kind of stuff. Just make it nice and clean for the weld to go in there. And then you can see I ground off those rolled edges that were on there. So now it's gonna be and a decent amount of welding. I don't know, 5-6 passes maybe, something like that. So we will get those cleaned up and then we'll set up the bore welder. All right, so we got this welded by hand. This got welded out by hand. And then we did one more pass to clean it up. Now we're gonna weld it up. First weld of many. Here is pass number 4. Pass number 6. Okay, so we got size of our pin, and then this side hasn't been touched yet. You can see how much play is in there. So that's with no weld. This side still have to go maybe one more pass, maybe 2, probably 1. Right now that's 6 passes. All right, pass number 7 in there. And you can see it's just barely fit, but if we tried to cut that, we would have low spots. So we'll wire wheel that and we'll put one more pass in there. All right, so you guys can see this one's not welded. This one's fully welded out to the size that we need. And there's a big difference there. So we've got 8 total passes. First pass. Pass number 2. All right, guys, it's next morning. Got everything cut to size. Got to cut my mounts off there. So instead of facing this, using the boring machine, which it's a lot more, it takes more time and a lot more of a risk to break an expensive tool or an insert. Since this is more of a budget line boring thing, which is what it is, I'm going to use the sander and just sand these flat, which I don't see an issue doing that. You can see I think that fits pretty good. I mean, you could try to move that sucker around, it doesn't move at all. All right, well, we're gonna get this cleaned up, and then we're gonna tackle getting those broken bolts out of there. Hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. So the bolts are frozen in there. I tried to heat it up, tried to get it out. I decided it would be faster and more effective to just drill them out and retap them. So that's what we did on the bolts, and sanded these flat with a grinder. So that's it. I'm gonna consider this bucket done. We're gonna load it on the trailer and deliver it to the customer. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.